Hello, my name is Joel. Welcome to the studio. Today I'll be going over how I did this painting of Robert Irwin. You guys know Robert, I'm sure. If you don't, he is Australia's prince, you know, the legend. The son of Steve Irwin, who I painted a couple years ago. I got that one to Bindi. It was time to paint Robert, so let's get into this one.
Alrighty, let's dive straight in. So I'm starting off here with the base tones for the skin. You can see I'm adding in the eyelid there. And it goes from 0 to 60 real quick, so we're about to see the whole face will be done. I didn't record it. I do apologize for that. I will do a video in the future where I actually record the entire face. Next here, you can see I'm adding a few highlights. They just really bring out where the sun's coming from. So the sun would be up in the left corner of this painting, and we're just working those highlights and shadows in now. Also adding in the ear, because often I forget to add that, which can be a pain. So let's add the ear in and a few more highlights and details. Now I'm going straight on to the hair. Now hair can be quite scary, as it's like a make or break with your painting, and if you've done the face so detailed, you don't want to let yourself down with the hair. So what I'm doing here is a base color, then adding in the shadows, and we're going to keep it light where it's going to be light, as Robert is blonde. We've got to keep it fairly light up top there. And so basically I'm using almost a similar color to the skin, adding in a few little darker lines just to show that yes, there's multiple hairs there. But don't overcomplicate this. It's not too bad once you get going. You're gonna add that green for the khaki, you know, the famous Irwin khaki. Got to get that on that shirt, mixed it with a bit of white there. Okay, so we're diving straight into the lights and darks of this khaki. You can see I'll add a base layer, a few highlights, a few shadows, and that's basically how we're gonna do it. So we blend it all together with a makeup brush, add some shadows for the collar there, a few whites, few darks, and work in your creases. So I hope you guys are enjoying this video so far. I certainly am. We'll keep on adding some darks there, and you can just see it come to life once you add those deep shadows, once again with the makeup brush for the blending. I'm diving straight into the elbow now. I find arms and hands quite difficult, so I found this pretty hard to blend. I used my reference photo really closely here, taken by Robert himself, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so just blending the dark shadows and not adding too much grey, as skin shouldn't be grey unless you're a zombie, so it's really difficult to get that balance. But you can see I did pretty well there, adding some hairs, you know, little things, freckles. Robert has freckles, so he's got to have them. Straight into the hand now. So hands, they're really difficult, I find. You find like there's a lot of veins, there's a lot of shadows, and just working those blends in such a small area I find quite difficult. So I did end up going over each finger a few times, but we skipped over that in the video. Anyway, you can see it's a bit rough there, and then I just blend it over with a makeup brush and add those whites to really bring that light back. Being done with the hand now, I'm going to start on the lovely little koala we've got here. So you know Robert's a big fan of koalas. They recently got on the endangered list, which actually inspired this painting, because I was like, what? How are they on the endangered list? Are my kids ever going to get to see koalas in the wild? And I really wanted to do what I could as an artist to, I don't know, bring awareness to that. But you can see here, once again, the shadows and then the highlights over the top. That's how you do fur. So shadows, 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 highlights, highlights, highlights. I'm using a little brush there, and just doing it stroke by stroke. It's a square brush, so it does more than one hair at a time, which is convenient. So yeah, and I just keep going with the shadows, lights, and it's quite a grey, you know, koalas are quite grey, so I didn't find him too difficult to paint. Bit of blotching, and that's how you do the fur. Once again, koala hands are quite difficult, just like human hands, but they have fur on top of them, so you got to get those lines right. and which directions all the fur goes. So I added a bunch of different things, didn't like it, added a few more things, and eventually found something I was quite happy with. Yeah, here we go, straight onto the face. Start with an outline of the eyes, adding the brown for the base layer, and then the koalas have quite a weird like cat eye sort of looking eye, so I found that pretty cool. And then when did it, going onto the nose, you know how koalas have that huge black nose. Really, it's not that black, it's kind of leathery, so we're going on to that now, and it's just, to get that smooth consistency I found quite difficult. It's just like blending the skin on Robert's face, except on a koala's nose. And they're not wet, they're quite dry, so you got to get that. Yeah, I struggled with it, but you can see I did alright in the end. I ended up using the makeup brush for a lot of the fine hair details on this koala. I apologize again, I didn't record it too much, just because I was so into it. Here we go, the ears are happening. Once again, darks, a bit of color, and then all the highlights, which would be the fur. I really enjoyed painting this one for Robert, and I can't wait to show you guys what happened next. So just keep watching. We're on to the glamour shots in 3, 2, 1. So I ended up posting this painting on my Instagram, and unfortunately we couldn't get the physical copy to Robert himself. However, he saw it on Instagram and he said it was amazing, and he thanked me for painting it, and that'll have to do. So I'm pretty happy with that. Here's the final picture. I hope you guys like it as much as I do. Thank you all for watching. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.